Hello, back for another Bible study, and today I'm going to be in the book of Jonah. God delivers the powerless. Did you know that? He delivers the powerless. And a lot of us are always, sometimes in situations that we're powerless. None of us likes to be powerless. None of us. I don't. Whether we like being in control or we are accustomed to playing the victim, however, it is only when we acknowledge our powerlessness that recovery can begin. Because we're all recovering from something. So, in the darkness inside the great fish, Jonah realized how helpless he was. It was there that he finally turned to God and received his help. As we recognize our helplessness, we too can receive the help God offers. Only He can redeem and deliver us from our dependency or compulsion. If we try to go it alone, we are headed for disaster. Keeping God's priorities. Since Jonah was a prophet of God, we might have expected him to share God's priorities, right? But when God told him to go to Nineveh, Jonah's response reflected his cultural heritage rather than God's values. God hated the people of Nineveh, just as all the people of Israel did. The Ninevites were enemies. But God had compassion on these wicked and bloodthirsty people. Jonah needed to get his priorities in line with God's. God desires the salvation of all people, regardless of their race, their religion, or nationality. As we share the story of our deliverance, we need to keep this truth in mind. God's patience. There are many painful aspects of the recovery process. Like Jonah, we are often tempted to drag our feet. We even pout when life does not go as we would like it to. I know I pout a lot. But God is patient with us, just as He was with Jonah. Rather than running from God and trying to avoid the pain of our problems or, for recovering or whatever it is we're going through, we need to run to God, who is in control and is trustworthy. He will patiently walk with us all the way, step after painful step. Forgiveness for everyone. Jonah was so bitter toward the people of Nineveh that he would have chosen death rather than proclaim God's good news to them. We too can desire revenge to the point of destroying our own life. Sometimes, where you have somebody did something to you and you have revenge and it's just killing you inside because you want to get after them or whatever, Bitterness destroys our peace, takes away our joy, and impedes the recovery process. If it impedes, for you to recover from whatever it is that you're going through. It is not natural to want God to forgive those who have hurt us. Thank God, at least I'm acting normal. But God is merciful to our enemies, even as He has been merciful to us. When we experience God's forgiveness, we should respond with joy when someone else receives the same. We may even become an instrument of healing to the people who have hurt us. It is difficult to begin the process of forgiveness once bitterness has set in. God had to put Jonah in the belly of a great fish for 3 days to get his attention. In the end, Jonah finally admitted that he was helpless and asked God for deliverance. Then he grudgingly went to Nineveh to warn the people of their impending punishment. Jonah was not happy when the people responded to his message and repented, for God had responded to their humility and with mercy. Even though Jonah refused to obey God, God never gave up on Jonah. Forgiving someone is never easy. No, it's never easy to forgive somebody. God used numerous object lessons for Jonah, to turn around and, he used a storm because he was on a ship because he tried to run away from God. And there was a storm, so God sent a storm. And then the whale, the great fish, swallowed him. He used a large plant. You need to get into the book of Jonah and read it. It's really very fascinating book. It's not that long of a book. a small worm and a scorching wind to teach Jonah about compassion and forgiveness. And in spite of Jonah's resistance to God's call, God used him to spread the good news that God desires to bring salvation to all humanity. And the key scripture in Jonah is Jonah 2, verse 2, that says, I cried out to the Lord in my great trouble, and he answered me. I called to you from the world of the dead, and Lord, you heard me. So thank you for listening to my Bible study, and get into the book of Jonah. God bless you.